Kind of crazy, that's all right. Yeah, not about that too much. Nope. This is what I want. Okay. Alexa, will it rain today? Morning. Let's see. Anybody online? Sir. Good morning, Mr. Ego.
Good morning, teacher. How have you been?
Doing right, sir. We're going in. Going in. Dégagez nous. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Trying to live. I say I'm trying to live.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, how are things where you are? How are things?
How?
Yeah, how are things? Are they quiet? Or are they stable? Or are they how are things for you?
Everything is okay.
Kind of quiet?
Yeah.
All right, good. So not too many where you are, because you're closer to the Dominican Republic. Like you're not. Oh, go ahead. So, how many miles are you from the Dominican Republic, from the border?
It's close. It's only a river that separated.
Oh, okay, like a mile, 2 miles, less than a mile.
Yeah, around.
All right. And so Port-au-Prince is like what, 3 hours away? How many hours away is Port-au-Prince?
I don't really know. Maybe 5.
5 hours? Okay. Do you ever go there?
Sorry, if I have.
Do you ever go there?
No, I haven't yet. There is not easy, and I don't really have things special to go there.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Yeah, I was out of town last week, so I'm back home. It never stops. So did you get a chance to do any of the reading? Okay, that's Gary Joseph. You get a chance to do the reading?
The reading.
Hmm?
Yeah, I read. Not the complete.
Okay.
I read some.
Okay. So do you have any questions from that? I'm gonna do one of the examples today. So try and get Gary Joseph in here. Might just be a few people today. So I'm recording this right now. Did you have any questions from what you read?
Stands. I don't really have questions because many parts from what I read, it was explaining what we have to do.
Hmm? And
if we need more explanation, we could go somewhere else.
Yes.
Like in the guide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Wheeler, very nice hat. I need that hat. That's a good hat.
Good morning.
Good morning. Did you see the movie? Did you see the Batman movie? You got the Batman hat. I wonder if you have seen the Batman movie. So Gary Joseph is trying to join. So all right, we can start. I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. So what I want to start with is so in the guide, I'm going to go to one of the examples. So the guide that I sent out, this is going to be complicated. We'll see. Hopefully we can get through it. So you'll see. So you get to see just how to use it. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. And if you have any questions, like feel free to type them in the chat. But I'm going to show you something. Let me share my screen. Get rid of close this. We're going to build something today, and you might be able to connect to it from your phones. All right, that's. Share. All right, so you can see my screen. There's a I think it's on page 96. I think that was like the last thing that I'd asked for you guys to read. Page 96. Let me do this. Do this. All right, so this is install a WordPress blog. Does anybody know what a blog is? And it's good if you don't, so I'll tell you. It's just a website where you could put information and then people can write comments about it. So, it's not Facebook. It's not something complicated like that, but it's something simple that you could do on your own. So we're gonna create one. So the tutorial is called this. I think the last, because I asked people to read, because it was 2 weeks. I asked people to read 7 pages a week. 7 times 14 is about 98. So okay, we're gonna try something. We're gonna see if it works. And I asked for people to read it. So probably read up to about here. So we're gonna try something that's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So I'm on page 96. And if you have the guide in front of you, it's gonna help you. So, if everybody in the chat, could you just tell me, do you have the guide in front of you? Do you have this the guide, the document? Mr. Ego, Mr. Wheeler, Mr. Gary, do you have the guide?
I'm trying to connect. To log in with another device, then I think I will get it.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay. All right, so that's gonna help you. That's gonna help you. So we're gonna do some interesting things here. And the other thing I wanna check is, let me do this real quick. All right, I'm looking at our bill for last month, and it's let's see. And so, all right, cool. Because we're not spending a lot of money. I think we spent about 11 cents so far. That shows you how cheap this stuff is to do. Okay, so let's go through the process. Oh, so we have to create an EC2 instance. So let's do that. So I'm clicking on the different links. So if you see, like, I'm on page 96, it has these 4 steps to do first. So the prerequisite is what you do first, then you do something second, then you do a third step. So I'm going to go to page, it should be page 84. Is that it? No, it's not what I wanted. Here. Prereqs. All right, we start recommend. Yeah, fine. All right, so I'm going to jump around a bit here. All right, so let's do this. So I'm actually on page 22 right now. So we're going to jump around a bit. I'm going to, all right, admit everybody. All right, it's a party. Let me share my other screen. All right, Sabina's joining. Share this. Share. Should be able to see my screen. And what I want to do, so if you're looking here, this is 0, which is good, which means we're not paying for anything. 0, which is good. This doesn't cost anything. This doesn't cost anything, but everything else costs something. Like this right here, snapshots, cost something. So we're gonna go, want to launch an instance. So I'm gonna go here. So I'm on page 22 of the guide. So page 22, one of the first things it says to launch an instance. So I just want to create an EC2. And we're going to add some things to it. Let's see. Let's see. So these are the different instances I can use. I want Amazon Linux. That's the type I want. So there are different types here. I'm going to pick the latest one. This is 5.10, which is the latest one. I'm going to pick this one. And stop me at any point if you have any questions. Let me kind of shrink this down so it might be easier for you to see. All right. So I'm going to select this. So I want a machine image. We talked about this before in AMI. All right, so I'm going to choose this type right here, choose an instance type, that's step 2. Let's see, configure instance details. Let's do, I just want one. Some of this other stuff I don't care about. I think I need to add elastic IP. Wanted to use regular storage, nothing special, because we're not going to keep this for very long. I'm going to make this 16. We're going to delete it afterwards, but I'm going to make this, actually make this 24. It's 24 and want one virtual machine created. Let's see if it lets me add a security group. Security, that's what I want. Using system one. And I want to use this security group. So review and launch. So what I did, and I'm gonna have to put this online. I selected this virtual machine, this AMI, because I want to use it for the example in the book. So if you just joined, I'm talking about, I'm on page 22, and I'm creating a EC2 instance because we're going to create a WordPress blog. So that's what I did. And then I'll go launch. And I'm going to go just really quickly. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Choose an existing pair. So we created one. Yeah, all right, I have that. Launch instances. Okay, so we talked about this a lot of times. So I just created an EC2 instance. I'm going to go through the steps again, just so you can see what I did. But if you look at page 22 of the guide, it lists the exact same steps. All right. So do this. So what I did is I went to the dashboard. All right, EC2 dashboard. I said I want to launch an instance, which means I want to create an EC2. All right, so I'm just clicking here. And I want a specific one. I want one that's called Amazon Linux. So that's step one. I said, okay. I select this one. Step two, I choose this one, T2 Micro, because it's not going to cost me a lot of money, okay? Step three, there's some other details. I only want one. I don't want two or three or four. I just want one. And then, ooh, I should have done that. I should have just done that one, but I didn't. That's okay. Storage. This is too small for what I want to do, so I just created another one. I just increased the size of the storage, how much information I can put in. We don't need to do anything with tags. The security group, so this is done on page 22 in the guide. I just decided to use a security group that's already there. And what does a security group mean? I'm going to put up another picture. The security group helps me protect the EC2. So let me put up a picture of what we're doing, so it's a little bit clearer what we're doing here. So what we're doing, so the question is, okay, Fritz, what are we doing? So what we're going to do, remember this picture? So I think the last time we had class, before I had to deal with some family stuff, I sent you guys this picture, and the picture shows you how to create a website, right? So you're a person here, you connect to, this is all on AWS, and you're able to get information through the web server. So I'm just showing you a different way of doing that, using something called Apache and using something called MariaDB. And these are very, very popular software tools. So if the question is, why am I doing this? Like, why is this important? It's because most of the world that uses that does stuff on the web, this is what they're using. Like what I'm showing you, this is what they're using. So if you want to understand it and use it for yourself, and then you can, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. I have a good friend. She needs help with from somebody who knows how to do this stuff. So some of the stuff I'm showing you, she needs help, from somebody who could do that. So, that's another way for you to make money. If you understand what I'm describing, you can create websites for people, from scratch, and it won't cost you a lot of money to do that. So that's why I'm showing you kind of like how the pieces are connected. So, all right, I'm going to go back to, all right. So that says my instances are now launching. Means it's done. So there's green right here. It says it's done. And it says that it was successful. So if I go back to the EC2, and remember, and let me know if you can't see my screen. Remember, before, where's my other view? See that? So remember before, I didn't have, this was 0, and this was, a lot of these were 0, but now because I created an instance EC2, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So right now, this is costing money, volumes, because that's where I store the information. This is costing money. This is costing money. So this is where now, where since we created it, now we're starting to get charged. So are there any questions? Can somebody explain to me what I just did? I want to make sure it's clear to clear enough people. Can somebody tell me what I just did, Mr. Rigo, Sabina?
Can you hear me, teacher?
I can hear just fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So I wasn't here at the initial time, but I heard you were talking about how to create an EC2.
Yes, we're gonna add on top of that. Yes, but that's the beginning.
Yeah. And so I was reading about how to create a EC2 lately. I think it's easy, but something I wanted to ask you about is about creating the web page, right?
Yes.
So I don't know all the steps. So I want you to brush it up again for me, please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So we're gonna do that, and we'll see if it works. But that's one of the things I want to work on today. But yeah, if you've been reading about the EC2, so thank you for doing that. If you've been reading about the EC2, I know we talk about it a lot, but because we're gonna keep adding stuff on top, and it just gets more complicated. But you got to understand the fundamentals. So yeah, if you read that, what you read is what I just showed, and then we're gonna add a web part on top of that called WordPress. So yeah, you're asking the right question. So I'm on page, like I said, I'm on page 22. Let me get rid of this. So we have our EC2 instance. So let me try. I got to do something with this that I didn't do. I should have done this before. So right now my EC2 is running. And all right, cool. Let's see if we can connect. Let's see, what's her name? Hold on a sec. Let me check something. Okay, so now we're going to try and connect to it. So if you look here, and I hope you can you guys still see my screen? I don't think you can. Let me try and share again. Yeah, you can't see my screen. So
yeah, we can see it.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, what am I sharing then? Let me try this. What am I doing?
Yeah, we do.
So this should be it. All right. Yeah, I should see like a red mark when I'm sharing, but I'm not seeing it. So let me go try this again. This. All right, but you guys can see it. So I'm not gonna, if you can't see it, let me know. I don't see the red mark, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm sharing. So, okay, we just created this machine here. This is the address. And I talked about this a lot of times before. The address is how you find it on the internet. So let me try something here. And then I'll show, if this works, I'll show you, I'll show it to you anyway, but gotta find it. So we gotta connect to it. So let's see. All right. One second, something I'm setting up, and then I can show you the rest of this. So we're gonna connect because we gotta do some other steps. It kind of, like I said, it gets, you can do it. It's not impossible. It just a lot of steps to do. So give me 1 second while I try this out. Let's see what happens. Copy this. Oh, whoops. All right, so I'm going to try and connect to this machine here. We'll see what happens. Let me share this, see if I can share this screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's not good. Oh, security group's not open. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the chat. This is a command that I use to connect from my machine to the EC2. I'm going to put this in the chat, and I'm going to explain what that command means. So it's another command that, if you understand it, it's used all the time. So let me put this in the chat. It's going to seem complicated, but I'm going to break down piece by piece what it means. So there's this command called SSH. I'm putting this in the chat. SSH is short, is a short way of saying secure shell, right? So someone took secure shell, they took the S in secure, SH in shell, they put those together, S plus SH, and you get SSH. All right, got a question from Sabina. I think I saw Sabina raise her hand. Sabina, do you have a question? All right, Sabina, did you have a question? Did somebody have a question? Did I just miss that? You're not on mute, so if you're speaking, I can't hear you. Okay, it looks like Sabina's audio is delayed. Sabina, could you type your question in the chat? I can hear you, but it's not very clear. Go ahead. I can hear you that you're speaking, it's just not coming through clearly. Can you hear me clearly? You can type your question in the chat too.
Yeah. All right.
You can type your question in the chat too. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I will write it down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, please do. Please write the question so we can see if we can answer it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to figure out why this is not connected, but I'm gonna explain this command. So in order to connect to the EC2, I need something that's called a key. So I want to connect to a machine, I need a key, right? Just like if you go inside a building or if you go inside a car, you need a key so that only you can go into it. So this command, SSH, is, I said, I want to use a key. This is the name of the key. It's a file. It's an actual file on my system. I say I want to use this key. I'm telling this command, use a key, this is the name of the key, to connect to this computer on the internet. All right, so it's very basic the way I explained it. All you're saying is I have a key, use this key to connect me to this machine. That's all you're saying. So it does look complicated, but I think everybody understands keys and connections. So it's like putting a password, basically, putting a password. So for some reason, it's not letting me connect to this machine. So we have to figure out why that's happening, why that's not happening. So I'm trying to connect and it's saying that I can't connect to this machine. So let's see. Let's see what the, I hope you guys can still see my screen. Choose or type of. So let me try this. I'm going to try and do a basic connection. I think I had another question. They respond to pink. All right, this is the problem. So I'm going to share another part of my screen. Does somebody else have a question? All right. At any point, all right, and Sabine, I don't see your question in the chat. All right, she dropped off and she's coming back in. So I'm having problems connecting to the EC2. So we're going to work on it together to kind of understand what the problem is. So my EC2, if you can see my screen, my EC2 is running. This is in green, it says it's running. The other thing is that there's a check. There are two things that it checks. And you see it says 2 out of 2 passed. So this is in green. So my connection should be okay. Let's see, try this one. I got to try and figure out why it's not connecting. So it's not responding to this. Check the security. So I have the security group. So let's check the security groups. So what I have is, I have a security group. You can call it whatever you want to. It has this really long, complicated name here. But the security group, what it is for the EC2, is it tells me what the rules are for connecting into the EC2 or out of it. So imagine you have a house, right? Imagine the EC2 is your house. You have a code that tells you who can come in to your house, and you have a rule for who can come into your house. You have a rule for who can come out of your house. So only people that come into your house are people you want to come into your house, and the only people who can leave are the people who you want to leave. So if you have kids, then the kids can't leave, for example. But if your brother wants to come over, your brother can come over. So it's the same kind of idea for the security group in the EC2. There's some information. All right, that's Sabine's question. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We just created an EC2. And it means almost the same thing, Sabine. So Sabina, so when I say EC2, I mean the same thing as virtual machine. In the EC2, because it's running in the cloud, it's always in the cloud, the EC2 has a security group, which is what I'm showing right now. Can you guys still see my screen? All right, so the security group, it has rules. So the problem that we're having, inbound rules. So there's a rule for information coming in. Right now, the machine is not letting me connect at all. So this is a problem. This is actually a real problem. So let's see if we can figure out how to solve it. So I have an EC2, it's running, it's in green. The security says it has this security group on it. And I'm clicking through so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Let me go back here. I have my EC2 running, I click on it, okay? I wanna know, it tells me it's running. I know where it is on the internet. I know exactly where it is on the internet. If I want to find it, this is the address. If I want to find the EC2, it's a public IP address. All right. And if I go to security, it says that if I go to security, it says that protocol on destination default security. It has this rule. And the rule says, the rule says that I can connect. So the rule says I can connect from anywhere, but it's not letting me do that. So I got to figure out why that is. So we're going to figure it out together. And then we can go through the rest of the example of trying to set up the WordPress blog. I hope you guys can still see my screen. Oh, okay, cool. Good questions, good questions. So, right, it's the question that Mr. Wheeler has is, why the EC2 should be protected, and is the case that only the security group. So, the security group is like having a lock on your door. Like the security group is like having a lock. The reason why you want to do it is because, the way you used to protect machines before, if you had a physical machine, if you had an actual machine in your house, you would protect it physically. You would have a physical lock on your door, and only certain people can come into your house or into your office. And that would be the protection that you had. In the cloud, you're in Haiti. The machine could be in Haiti, or the machine could be in Brazil, or it could be in France, it could be in Jamaica. It could be anywhere. The security group says, even though you don't have the machine physically in front of you, you can still put protection on it so that only you can access it. So even if somebody comes into the room, or somebody, they still can't access the machine. Like, you still have some protection, even though you don't physically have the machine in front of you. So it's a way to protect you. The security group is the main way to protect the server. It's not the only way. The other way of doing it, or I'm going to put this in the chat. These things called firewalls. All right, so that's Mr. Wheeler. That's another way of protecting it. Firewalls, and firewalls are almost the same thing as security groups. Almost the same thing. But the security group, see if I can draw a picture. I'm going to draw a picture. We'll see what happens to kind of give you an example of how the security group works. Can I do Visio? It's telling me I don't have to do it this way. Basic type. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you can see this. All right, so I'm using a program called Visio, and what I want to show you is, I just want to do basic shape. Software. One second. Just want to draw this thing so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, let me just do this. One second, I just want to draw you guys a picture. It's this one of this. All right, I think we do it this way. All right, so let's say this is computer. It's one in regular computer. This doesn't have it either. And whatever, guys. I'm just looking for the right one. Detail network diagram. All right, well, let me just do it this way. So this is you. This is you. You're a person on the internet, and let's say this is okay. Yeah, this might work. Yeah. All right. This is what I want. So this is you on the internet, right, Mr. Wheeler? So your question. This is you on the internet. This is a computer. So let's say. All right. Let's say this is Wheeler. And let me expand this a bit so you can see this a little bit better. I know this is hard to see, so let me see if I can change this. All right, so hopefully you can see this better now. Make this a little bit bigger. All right, this is Wheeler. You're on the internet. And this is the EC2 virtual machine. All right. So the problem is, we got a problem here because you can connect here. So you can connect to this machine from the internet. So this is you, Wheeler. This is the EC2. The problem is that if you connect and there's no protection on the machine, then you can do whatever you want to. What you could do is add something called the other way of protecting it, because this is something you asked, is something called a firewall. So this is the virtual machine. You can go directly to it. You can do whatever you want to. But the other way, if I wanted to protect it, there's this thing called a firewall. All right, so this is a firewall. And that sits in front of the machine. Let me do this. So it's a little bit clear what I'm doing. That's not what I wanted. Hold up. I'm gonna draw this picture and then hopefully it becomes like clearer. All right. So I'm gonna put another piece here. So this is, again, this is you, Wheeler. This is the security group. And this is how it works. So I'm not making this up. This is actually how it works. Security group. Security group. So now you want to connect to this machine. And let me put this a little bit so you can see. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see it clearly? Can you guys see it?
Yes, we
Yes.
All right, so
Yeah.
So what Mr. Wheeler was asking was, you know, why is it important? And so this is how it works. This is what I'm describing. So if you're a user, this is Wheeler. The first place you're going to pass to connect to the EC2, you got to get past the security group. And the security group has rules, right? So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to send this picture out to in the chat, so it's a little bit clearer. Because Wheeler's question was chat, the reason why, and then is the only security group. So you can use security groups, which are rules to say what you can do. The other thing that you can do is you can have a firewall. So the first place you have to pass is a security group. That's the first lock, all right? That's the first place you got to pass. Then once you pass the security group, then there's also something that you can add, and every machine has this. In 2022, every computer has the ability, it has a firewall, every single one. So if you have a Windows machine like Mr. Mickinson, you have a firewall. So if you get past here, but there's a rule, because the firewall has rules too. You got to satisfy these rules and these rules, otherwise you're not going to be able to connect to the EC2. The reason why you have two of them is because, let's see if I can find a stencil for this. If I can find a way to do this, then I'll do it. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. The reason why is because, general, I just want a connector. All right, I'll do this after during the break. But the reason why you can have two is the firewall is specifically only for one EC2. So this, I don't want a connector. This firewall can only connect to one EC2, but the security group can be used for multiple EC2s. You can have the same security group. So you can have, let me do this. So let's say this is virtual machine 1 to make it a little bit clearer. Virtual machine 1. So that's one, right? So let's say I create another one. Got a couple of minutes. All right, so I'm going to clean up this picture. Yep, all right, that's what I want. So network diagram, and then where's my connector? So I'll just copy this. All right, so this is how it works. That's not what I want. This is what I want. All right, so the difference is, I'm going to try and shrink this down so it's a little bit clearer. So I have, let's say I have two virtual machines. Right. So I have virtual machine 1, I have virtual machine 2. Mr. Wheeler wants to come into use either one of them. So now you notice he has to get past the security group, right? He has to get past the security group. And then after passing the security group, he has to pass firewall 1. That's firewall 1. If he wants to get to virtual machine 1. If he wants to get to virtual machine 2, he has to pass firewall 2. So what I'm trying to show you is that the security group can work for more than one virtual machine. So you see, if I want to go here, I have to go here first, then here, then here. If I want to go to virtual machine 2, I have to go here, then here, then here. So I can use the same security group for many virtual machines. But the firewall, I can only, it's attached to the virtual machine itself. It's one-to-one. So, you know, Ms. Wheeler, so the answer to the question is, the security group is sometimes easier. It's sometimes easier because you can use it for more than one. If you have like 20 EC2 instances, if you have 20 of them, you can say, okay, I'm just going to use one security group for all 20, and then you're done. If you want to get more complicated, and most people don't do it this way, they'll have, you know, a security group and then a firewall. And this is a pain to manage. So most people will just pick one security group. They won't deal with the firewall. So you'll just be, you connect here, and then you connect here. Like a lot of people skip this part because it just seems too much. It's like if you already have a lock here, you don't really want another lock over here. So most people, what they'll do is, here you are, Mr. Wheeler, you go to the security group, which is a wall. If you meet the rules, then you connect to the EC2. If you meet the rules, you can connect to this EC2. And these are two different EC2s. So this is, so like the two things as far as security that you have to think about is security groups and firewalls. Because you're on the internet, anybody from Russia, China, Brazil, Venezuela, whatever, they can connect to your machine. But you want to put these rules in so that to make sure that they don't do something that they're not supposed to. So it's 10:51. If you have any questions, put in the chat. Let's take a 10-minute break and start again at 11. I'll see if I can figure out what's going on with my security group is not letting me in. So I put too good of a security group. I can't even get into my own computer. So we'll see if we can figure that out. Let's start again at 11. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and then we can answer them when we start, okay? All right, so let me create a picture out of this so I can just send it to you guys. So we can start again at 11. All right, you're welcome, Mr. Wheeler. So let me create see if I can create something that you guys can use. Let's do a picture. I just want to do a picture. All right, security groups, firewalls. So that's that. And then all right. So I just sent the picture in the group chat. Let me know if you can't download it. But that picture I just created, I just threw that in the group chat. So somebody please try and download it, the picture, so that we can, you know, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. But that's how it works. Let me see if I can figure out what the heck is going on with this other thing. I mean, Sabina, did you have any other questions? Or did that answer your question about the EC2? Did you have another question?
I got the answer.
Okay, all right, cool. I have one more question from Mr. Rigo. I'll wait for him to come back. So is everybody back? If you could raise your hand if you're back. I can't tell who's back other than Sabina. This is a chat. All right, so Mr. Rigo, so your question was if you can only use the firewall. So let me put this picture back up. Don't need this one. Let's see this one. All right. Let me put the picture back up so you can see what I'm talking about. Share this. All right. So I hope you guys can see my screen. It's weird. It's not even telling me which screen it's sharing. I can't even tell. So, Mr. Rigo, your question was, can you just use the firewall to yeah, you can do that. So if you see the picture, can you see the picture? All right, what you could do is, so you have this firewall. So the firewall, it has been around for like, I don't know, maybe 20 years, right? When people started putting, a lot of people started getting on the internet. So we're in 2022 right now. So like 2002, like more people started getting home internet access, at least here. I know I'm speaking about the United States, right? I know that. So because people were connecting, they needed protection. Because if your computer's on the web and somebody doesn't care, they do whatever they want to your computer. They take your credit card information, your bank information, your personal information, they just take it from you. So, you know, so you have these firewalls. So what you can't, so the security groups was added for the cloud because you just have too many, like this firewall, actually, I'm going to show you a firewall. I'm going to show you one. That's a good question. So you can, I'm going to short answer your question. You can, but it can make your life a lot harder because instead of having one security group and it works for 20, so let's say you have 20 EC2 instances, you can have one security group and say that security group is for all the firewalls, is for all the EC2 instances. That's just one change you have to make. So if you make one change in one place, you're done. You just make one change. If you have 20 EC2 instances and each one of them has their own firewall, like they do here, you got to make 20 changes. Now it's possible. It's possible. So but you got to figure out which one you want to do. Do you want to make one change in one place, or do you want to make 20 changes in 20 places? And you can make your life simple and just write something that just, but then you still got to think, okay, you know, what if you miss one, you know, as opposed to you just have one rule that you change. That's why people like security groups. So at work, we have like almost 2,000 machines, right? Where I work is 2,000 machines. So you apply it, so all of them get, most of them get the same security group, because then we know they all got the same protection. If you start going into these firewalls, it's a lot more complicated. Like if you, let me show you, I'm going to show you another screen. These are good questions. You guys are asking some really good questions. But you understand this, like I'm telling you, I have a friend, she lives somewhere else. I don't have time to do this, but she needs help with something she's doing on the web, right? But so there's the opportunities there if you understand what you're doing. You know, like one day maybe I can tell her like, hey, call one of you guys and you can do it for her and she'll pay you, you know, so nobody's working for free. She'll pay you, you know, so I don't work for free. All right, so let me show you a couple of things if I can stop sharing this. So we had a problem before, and the problem was my fault. So I was trying to connect. So before this wasn't working, I told you, I have a command, and the command says, open the EC2 instance and use a key, right? Because I still need to connect to the EC2 instance. So I tried it before, it didn't work. I made a change because the problem I had, I'm going to share my screen again. So I'm going to show this command. I'm going to run the command just so you see it. Yes. Gotta do this other thing. All right, hold up. I got to make another change. So you see here it says permission denied. They put so many rules on this stuff so that you don't, so it makes it harder for you to mess up. So I got to change something else on this. All right, let me do this a different way. But I'm going to show you, so I don't get off track. When I come back to this, I want to show you, so the rule that I had to change. So before I was having a problem because they wouldn't let me connect at all. It wouldn't let me connect. But the change I made, I'm going to show you a rule. So I said, right. So now I'm going to show you how I got here, right? I'm going to show you how I got here. So I came to, and you guys, like I said, you guys can log in and see it's the same thing I'm seeing. You guys can let your usernames and passwords work. So you can at least see exactly what I'm showing you right now. You can see it. So I have an instance, just one. I click on it, it's running. I just want to show you how I'm getting here. All right. So I say, okay, it gives me some information about the instance. Okay, this is interesting. I want to go to security. All right, so I have my instance. There's like the picture and some security. So it says, okay, this is a security group, which is what we just talked about. The problem I had, which I forgot, is I had no rules in the security group. So what I'm saying is, you see this right here, SSH. SSH is a command. It's going to connect to this machine in a specific way. And the command that I put in the chat, I'm going to put it in again. You notice the command is called SSH. So I want to connect the two. So I'm going to put this in the chat because I want you to understand. I really want you to understand this. I'm going to ask somebody to explain this to me, so I'm not crazy. I'm going to put this in the chat. Then I'm going to ask somebody to explain this to me. So where is my chat? So I'm going to put this in the chat. That doesn't work. All right. Now there's a command that I put in the chat, right? And you notice the command starts with the letters SSH. SSH is short for secure shell. All right, so you have SSH equals secure shell. That thing's, this secure SSH has been around for like 30 years. It's older than everybody here except for me. I'm the only person older than SSH. But SSH as a command that you can use, you can learn, has been around for like more than 30 years, maybe 40 at this point. So they took S in secure shell, insecure, SH in shell. They put that together and they made SSH. What it means is it lets you connect with security from your machine to another machine. Because you can't have everything clear. You have to put some security on everything. Otherwise, some people can steal your information. You don't want people to steal your information. So when you connect from a computer on the internet to your house, from your house to the internet, you need security because people are listening. They're watching the information go back and forth. So somebody could look at your information and say, oh, there's his credit card information. Let me take that information. Oh, there's his passport information. Let me take that. So all these things help you protect your information. So SSH, if you see, I put in the chat this thing called SSH, and it's saying two things. It's saying connect the machine 34.227.6528. You see it's like this long thing, and use this key. This is the key, right? This is clear. So this is the key. Key is this file. So I'm going to put that in the chat. So it's just saying to the computer something very basic. It's saying use this key to connect to this computer. That's it. It's like if I gave you a key and said, use this key to open this house, or use this key to start this car. It's the same thing. Your computer uses keys. Like your password for your phone is a key, right? If I don't have your password for your phone, I can't open your phone. If I don't have the key to your house, I can't get into your house or your car or your motorcycle or whatever. So that's what I want you to understand. So the problem I was having, hopefully you can still see my screen, is if you see where I have SSH here, I had to put a rule that says, let me connect to the EC2 with SSH. Otherwise, it wasn't gonna let me connect. It wasn't gonna let me connect. And that was the problem we're having earlier, because it's gonna do, what I'm trying to explain is when you create stuff that the public can access, everything's gonna be on lockdown, okay? And you have to say, okay, now it's like if you buy a house and you know, that you put locks in the house, right? Like you hire, let's say you get somebody, they build your house, and that person builds your house, and they give you a key to your house, and they give you a password. They give you like a password to your house. They're not going to give it to everybody. They're going to give it to you because it's your house. Now you have to decide, okay, I'm going to give a key to my brother, or I'm going to give a key to my friend or my mother or somebody. You got to make that decision. So on the EC2 with these security groups, you're saying who else can come into your EC2 instance. So I'm going to do something, and I'm going to show you a firewall that I have on my machine. I'm going to show you a firewall, and I tell you, it gets complicated. So the firewall, let's see if it lets me change anything. It won't let me change anything, which is fine. Okay, I don't care about that, but I just want to show it to you. It's not going to let me change anything. I don't want to change anything right now, so I don't care. But I want to show this to you. So, you know, Mr. Igor, you had a question about firewalls. And I'm going to show you a firewall that I have on my machine. This is a firewall, right? So, you know, they call it a firewall for a reason. So you have a wall, right? And if somebody's shooting fire, you know, at your wall, you want protection. That's all it is. You want protection. So the idea of a firewall is, okay, I'm going to put some protection between my machine and someplace else. So I have a firewall. If you see here, can you guys see my screen? All right. So this is a firewall on my machine. They all work the same way. This is easier for people to see. So I had this firewall, and I have all these programs on my machine. Let me find one that's kind of interesting. Okay, this one's kind of interesting. I have some games on my machine, right? I have some video games on my machine. Like, as you guys know, even if you don't play, you know that people play their PlayStation or their whatever, Nintendo or whatever. People who use that, who have those systems, they can play with other people all over the world. For that to work, you have to let people connect to you. You have to be able to connect to other people. So I have a rule here. I have this game called Gears of War. This is my firewall. So these are a bunch of programs that I have. Some of them I like connect. Other ones I don't like connect, like this ISCI service. I don't let it connect to anything. You can't connect to anything outside of my computer, and nothing can connect to it. But Gears of War, since I play it sometimes, you know, not a lot. I have Halo too. If any of you play video games, you know these games. But I have this game called Gears of War. I have a rule for Gears of War here that says Gears of War can connect to other computers. So if I want to play with other people or want to chat with other people, I can do that in this game. So that's my firewall. Let's see if I can change. Yeah, let me do this. All right, so now I just did something. So I can change these rules if I want to. Let me pick one. If I actually pick the Gears of War one, because it's a game. So, Halo. Oh, okay, let me pick this one. All right, doesn't give me anything interesting. But my whole point is on this machine that I'm using right now, I have games, I have a firewall, because I don't want anybody to connect to me. And I can use a firewall to connect to, I can use the firewall to allow people to connect to me and let me connect to other people, because I don't want just anybody on my machine. So that's how a firewall works, but I have to use it on this machine. There's more other information about, like, my private network is my network at home, public network, so like at the airport, a library, Wi-Fi cafe. So that's kind of like, what you have to think about in terms of security for, firewall security groups. So on this machine, I don't have a security group because it's not in the cloud. It's my physical machine. It sits right here next to me. If I put a machine in the cloud, I can have this firewall that I just showed you, and in the other screen, the security group. I can have two. I can have two kinds of protection. At home, I just need one. In the cloud, sometimes you just can use one. So at home, I use a firewall. This is like the way to think about it. If you're at home and you have a physical machine, let me put this in the chat so you guys have it at least in your notes. Chat. So at home, at home I use a firewall. I control it. It's right there on the machine. It's direct. On the internet, in the cloud, I use a security group. So that's how that works. And the problem I was having before is I didn't have a rule for the security group to let me in, and because I didn't have a rule, it didn't let me do anything. So I want to show the other parts of this, but I got to do something else. Got to do something else. So I'll see if I can show you what I'm doing, so you guys can at least understand what the heck is happening. So, all right. So let me. While I'm trying to set this thing up, can anybody explain what I just described? Like anybody? Sabina, I think she dropped off. I hope she can get back on. Mikin-san, Wile, can anybody explain what I just described? Anybody? Like as far as security groups, firewalls, why you would use one versus the other. So let's say I'm coming to you for advice. I want to pay you for information. You know this stuff. I'm going to ask you, Mikin-san, Mr. Rigo, Mr. Wile, Mr. Garrett, anybody, tell me, what should I do? I want to set up security. What should I do for security on my EC2 instance? I want to pay you to tell me what to do. Anybody? All right, can anybody tell me what the, oh, go ahead. All right, go ahead. Oh, go ahead. I think Wheeler is talking. Go ahead, Wheeler.
All right, I would love to say something.
Yes, sir.
According to what I understand, we use this, so the firewall and the security group are here just to protect the EC2.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the picture that you were designing here, I understand that we can have just a security group. It is the first thing, that the most important things just to protect. Okay. But the firewall, it is just for exactly for the internet. And we might have just one security group for different LLM access.
Yes.
But the firewall is just only for one, but the security group, we can use it for safe one. So
Exactly.
this is what I understand.
Yes. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. So yeah, that's exactly it. So what you want to do is you want to have you can use a firewall, like I just explained. If I'm doing stuff at home for myself, I have a firewall. It's set up because my machine is connected to the internet, and it's just for my machine, and it gives me some protection, right? It says this person can't connect to it, but maybe the game I play or whatever can connect to it. The security group is you're in the cloud. Like I said, where I work, 2,000 machines. It's too much work to go through and put a firewall for each one. So it's possible. It's possible. You can do it, but it's like, why would you want to? You just make one security group, and it could you can use it for all 2,000 machines. So that's kind of like what you want to do for. That's kind of like how you make a decision of which one to use. So, okay. All right. So this is the other thing I want to show. That's working. So I'm going to share another screen so that you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So let me share another screen. So now I added the rule. I can connect. I think this is what I want. All right, so I don't know why it does that. All right. So so remember this command SSH. Can you guys see my screen? It says pause.
It's empty.
Let me try something else. Let me try this. I don't know why it does that. Resume share. Okay, I see what the problem is. It's weird. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. I'm going to run this command. And all it is saying this command, use a key. This is the name of the key. I want you to connect to this computer. It's just very straightforward. I just say, I have a key, use a key, connect to this computer. And I showed you before, I put in a rule in my security group that says, let me connect. That's what I was missing before. That's why it didn't work before. All right, so now let me do this. Put return. And okay, so now I'm in. You can say, Fritz, how do you know that you're in? I'm gonna put together a picture. Let me do this so you guys can. Again, I want things to be clear as possible. So let's see. So let me do this. Let me take a picture that I can send to you guys so that you can see. Okay, well, how does he know he's connected? Like what? Let's see, Windows snip. I want to do rectangular snip. All right, I'm going to put this picture in so you can have an example. I'll put this in the chat. So I just put another picture in the chat. That didn't work. Hold on, let me try that again. Documents. All right. So this is logging into EC2. All right, so let me put this in the chat. All right, so I put that in the chat. All right, so you can say, Fritz, what did you do? So I logged into this machine, so if you see here, it says wash DC. Can you guys read this? Can you guys read this? Can you guys see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so wash DC East Verizon. So it's kind of telling me, yeah, it just saying where I am. But I connected to this machine here. From here, I connected to here from here. Just like any other type of communication connection. You start from one place, you go to another. So now the way I know I'm someplace else is this changed. So before I had this is how you tell the difference. So, well, you say like, Fritz, how do I know it worked? So let me exit. So this left side is one way. I put in the command and it changes. And it tells me, okay, this changed, now I'm connected. The other command I want to run, this is from the book. See if I can find it. Are there any questions so far? I want to go through the other side of this. Requisite, so we did that. All right, so I'm gonna flip back to because hopefully we can get this working before our time is up. So let me flip back. I'm gonna share something else. Since you guys have been reading this, which is good, I'm gonna share something with you. This is the document. So it says install WordPress. Let me see if I can do this so I don't keep jumping around, but let me share screen. Let me just see if I can just do this. Yeah, let me just do that. All right, so hopefully you guys can see everything.
I can see everything.
Hold up, I messed something up. Hold on, let me make sure I'm in the right place. That's on my right. This is on my left. Okay, so that's kind of messed up. That's okay. All right, so let me move this here. All right, so we have a step. I hope you guys can see my screen. I'm just gonna go through this. I'm just gonna copy this long thing. This is a lot. But like I said, it's not this long command, because this is step one. I'm gonna install WordPress. Let me go here. Because I want to see if we can get this done before noon, just so you can see it on the internet. All right. Oh man. Which one's this? Oh, I have another problem. X2. But I've been trying to figure something out. All right, so we got a problem, so we can figure it out. Yeah, this is Young install. right, we can try this instead. Okay. All right. So I changed the instructions that they, you just saw a whole bunch of things happen, but where I am is on page 97 of the guide. Like I said, I know I'm going through this a little bit quickly, but I'm installing things to the EC2 instance. I had to change just because it doesn't work exactly the way they said. So let me try something else. I'm on step 1, and I just want you to see this so I can upload it later and you guys can watch it. So I just installed, I did step 1. Let me try something else here. All right, it doesn't let me do that. All right, whatever. Let me try this. I'm just gonna run through these commands. So we have we have about 18 minutes. So I want to see if I can just get through this kind of quickly. Are there any questions so far on what we're doing? Any questions?
No question.
All right. Like I said, you guys can log into the Cloud Shell and try a lot of the things that I'm talking about. Like you can practice it as well. So this I have to go a little bit quickly just because it's. Want to see if we can get through this. Let's see. All right, that's cool. So I'm just copying stuff back and forth. We'll see what happens. And then we can do a review if this works. Missing. See if I can install the database. All right. Before. All right, try something else. Let's see if I can connect to the web server part. Forbidden. Okay, cool. Forbidden. So let me try this. I'm going to add another rule for now. I'm going to add another rule to. I'm going to share the screen. Yeah, you actually should be able to see my screen. I'm going to add another rule because I need another rule. I already have one. I'm going to add another one. HTTP. Yeah. All right, so I have 2 rules. All right, so let's see if I can connect to, this server. Like I said, I know I'm going a little bit fast, so see if I can upload this later on so that you guys can watch it. Let's see if I can connect to the EC2. I might not be able to, but we'll find out. All right, this is good. So what did I just do? So I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to draw another picture so you guys it could be a little bit clearer about what I just did. So it says test page here. It's like, you know, who cares? But there's other things that we can do. But here's a picture of what I just did. Let me share this one. So what we just did, and what we're going to continue to add to, let me share here. This stuff, I'm always happy when any of it works, because some of it just gets really complicated. And something you don't even know why something's not working. It's just, you know, which is why I always say, like, people pay a lot of money because it can get very frustrating. So what did we just do? We created, let's see, where's my other picture? Bring up the old picture.
I think I connect to the EC2 now.
Are you connected to it?
Yeah.
Wait, did you use this address?
Yeah, my address, yes, I got it.
Wait, hold up. All right. Let me go ahead. Do you mind sharing your screen? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can make you a host. So I just made you a host. So do you mind? That's good. Do you mind sharing so that the rest of us can see what you did as well, please?
I don't know, it's gonna be possible. I'm on my phone. Let me see.
Okay. I just made you a host. If it's not, that's fine. But it's good if you can, because then we can share that with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to show up. So while you're trying, let me. So this is what we just did. Let me share this screen. All right, cool. We're seeing Mickinson's screen. Your screen, yeah, your screen was there, then it went away.
Let me see.
Hmm?
Okay. Let me try something else, because you know my phone show it different.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
I can do something.
So let's see. Oh man. Let me do this. So let me share this. Let me show you. Go here. So what do we do? Like, okay, Fritz, you know, what just happened? So where is my website?
Okay.
All right, I'm just making it simple. So if you look at this picture, so now there's a web server. So if you go to this website, I'm going to put it in the chat. It doesn't seem like a lot, but like I said, it's used all the time. So if you understand how to do this, so what we did is, so if you look at page, like if you read up to page 100, you don't have to read past that. If you read up to page 100, even if you don't understand every single step, it will get you to a point where you could put a website to the public. I'm glad this is working, because like I said, sometimes it's a little bit complicated. But if you click here, oh, go ahead, Mickinson.
Yeah, it says, you mean that is from 1 to 100. This means it's about web developer.
You said from 1 to 100, it's
about web developer.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the page I'm on right now is like 96 or 97. So if you're reading the guidebook, and like I said, it's complicated, but it's a good way for you to practice your English. And it's also a very good way for you to learn some of these technical English terms. So this is you don't have to understand everything, but I think the first like 100 or so pages will tell you more than you'll know more about this than 99% of the people on the planet. So this is a good place to start. I'm happy this is working. We got about 10 minutes. Let me do this. I'm happy this is working. I hope you can see that. Because we set up a test page, and I just used the instructions from the guidebook. Like, this is not me this is just me doing some of the same stuff that you guys can do as well. What I want to show, because we haven't spent a lot of time on it, is the database part. Hold on, let's see. So MariaDB is started. All right, let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this. So I can show you something different at least. All right, MariaDB is already started. Let me see if I can do this, show you something different. Does anybody know what a database is? Or can somebody explain to me what a database is? We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, go ahead. Somebody explain what a database is.
Yes, I think it's a database is where you collect data. So that's mean you put information.
Okay.
Before, on the former time, it was like you're supposed to have an office to put information in folders. But right now you can do it through the cloud. Just to collect information.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer. So I'm gonna show you a database. Hopefully, if I can do it before. Let me do it this way. Oh, it's not connected. So let's see. So we can start this thing up before we. All right, let me actually just show you what I'm doing so that you guys can actually see this. So right now, I'm trying to connect to the database. Let me do it. So the database is called, whoops. The database is called MariaDB. There's this command to connect to it. Use this command called MySQL. But it's saying that it's not running. So what's the problem? Let's see, we'll figure that out real quick. All right. Disabled. All right, but we can't do it this time. We have to wait till next time to show you the database. So I'm gonna try and do this in the next like 5 minutes. See it. Automated version, okay. That's what to do. Yep. All right, so let's see. Cool. this. Starts. All right, see if this works. Yes, okay. So that was a lot. So let me do this. And so I can have like 4 minutes to show you some basics of a database. So the name of the database we're going to use is called MariaDB. It also it's similar. It's based on something called MySQL. So MySQL is one of the most popular databases in the world. Right? It's free and a bunch of people use it. MariaDB, someone took it and used MySQL to create MariaDB. So we're going to use Maria, but Maria is built on top of MySQL. So what I had to do is get the DB, I had to get the database working. So DB is another word name for database. So let me, so all the stuff that you saw me doing, I was trying to get it to work. And now it's working. I can connect. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to send a screenshot. We got a couple minutes. So we did most of what I wanted to do today. Like I said, I know it's a little bit confusing. So I'm going to follow up with you guys to make sure you understand. And when I post this video, please watch it. Like you can pause it and listen. But when I post it, please watch it. So let me do this. Time is 11:48. Got a couple minutes. So let me save this image so I can upload it. So here's the screenshot of what I did to connect to the database once it's set up. So I just sit there in the chat. Now we got a couple minutes. So I know this was fast. Can anybody explain to me what I just did in like the past 10 minutes, like what I was trying to do and why? Anybody? Rigo, Mr. Wheeler, Sabina? Any type of information that you can share with in terms of like what you understood of what I was trying to do in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Because remember this picture.
Teacher.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share something with you so you can, because I want, like I said, everything I try and do. I'm listening. You can go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, here you are looking for the database.
Hmm? And remember, I sent this picture out a couple of weeks ago.
It's because you wanted to find something.
All right, Megan's son. I think Wheeler, I think you're all right. Yeah, hold up. Who was talking? I think it was Megan's sons who was talking, but his audio just went out. Can you type it in the chat? Because what I'm showing right now, see this picture? That's what I'm trying to connect with. So when I sent this picture out a couple of weeks ago about what we're doing, and this is what we did. It doesn't seem like it, but this is what we did. I talked about this like a month ago before I had to deal with some family stuff. MariaDB, the database. Remember I sent this picture out. This is the EC2, and this is us connecting. So what I showed today was the website That's one. So let me kind of hopefully just share my entire as well while we have time. Let's see. I want to do that. See if I can just share this whole thing. So remember, we talked about this about a month ago. MariaDB, here's your EC2 instance. This is the website, and this is you. So what we've done is this website right here, where it says test page, that's this piece right here. That's this piece. So this website from this picture is this piece. When I showed you this screen, so I'm connected to an EC2 instance here. All right, I'm connected to it. That's this piece. All right, so far 2 pieces. So the first piece, this piece here, because I'm connected to the website. Second piece, this Linux piece, I'm showing that I'm connected to it here. And the last piece, this MariaDB, so if I go here, you see where it says MariaDB right here. And you see here where it says MariaDB. So let me see if I can do this. This is the last thing I'll show you for today. All right, hold on. See if I remember this command. MySQL, show databases. All right, hold on. Show databases. All right, so I type this command, show databases. So now you see 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 databases here. I think I say use test. Okay. Show tables. Use MySQL. I'm showing you some of the database commands. Show tables. Cool. Select star. User. Okay, so all right, what I'm just going to show you, I just ran a command on the database. It does have data. This is hard to read. I'll have a different screen next time, so it's a little bit easier to read. This is a database called which database I choose? Yeah, this is a database. This is the database data. It's a little bit hard to read, and yeah, so that's what I want to show. And so we have the pieces together. Next time we have class, and I'll upload this video. I want you guys to watch it. I'll ask Carolina to send it out. Yeah, we have about 5 minutes. Are there any other questions? Ms. Rigo, are there any questions? Sabina, Mickinson, Wheeler, Gary. There's a lot of material, but what I'm trying to show is like the pieces that we got, all the pieces that I'm interested in doing. We have the Linux server, the web server, the database, and the PHP. So if you read the first 100 pages of what I talked about, like everything I talked about in the first 100 pages is in what we just did. So if you read that first 100 pages, and we'll go into more details, but like you can actually see the pieces of what I'm talking about. So are there any questions?
Yeah, I would love to say something.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for everything. But can you please, do you think this is a good idea if you let us know even 1 day or 2 days before class, about what page we are going to work on.
Yes, yeah, I can definitely do that. Yeah, I wanted people, because I was out, to read the first. So next time we meet is going to be like in 2 weeks. If you can read up to page 100, you don't have to understand everything. Page 100, because I'm going to be taking material from like page 96 to 100.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you could read, you don't have to read past page 100, but if you can read, so that's 7 pages a day, right? So 14 days, that's 7 pages a day, or 15 pages a day, 15 pages a day. Just read it, just keep reading it over, because you just gotta get it in your head. Because everything that I just showed you is pretty much what's in those first 100 pages, even though it seems like a lot, okay? But if you read it, then the first 100 pages, that's why I'm trying to stick to the first 100 pages, so it doesn't get overwhelming. You stick to the first 100 pages, that's going to show you, going to cover pretty much almost everything I just talked about for the past 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first 100, we'll keep it very simple, 14 to 15 pages a day, first 100 pages, and that's what we're going to focus on. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right, are there any other questions?
I'm just gonna say thank you,
Sure.
but that is a good thing. So we know ahead what we're gonna study, and then we're gonna do our best to study ahead.
Yep.
And so it's gonna be much easier.
Yeah, and like I said, I understand it's a lot of material. So the first 100, just stay there, and I'll just try and stay there, and then you'll see the pieces. You'll just see it come together. But yeah, I understand the focus on the first 100 pages. Today I focus on around page 90 to 97, 98. That's where I mostly focus. But yeah, all right. But thanks a lot, everybody. I'm glad everybody was able to like you guys were able to get on and we were able to get back started again. So, but those pieces, the Linux, the MariaDB, the PHP, those are big pieces. This is what people use. This is how the internet's working. So if you start to understand that, like it's information that you'll be able to use and be an expert in. And like I said, that's what people pay me to do. And I want to make sure that you guys, if you're interested, that's what you're able to do as well. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. You have a great Saturday.
Thank you. You too. God bless you.
God bless you. Merci beaucoup. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.